Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kari Waltz and I share tips, tools, and techniques for the artist in you. And today I'm going to show you how I make this little leather journal. This one was one a friend got for me when I was in Italy. It has very nice, fine leather, feels really good. It's just a sketchbook, not watercolor book. As you can see, I haven't put anything in it, but I still love this little thing, and someday I will sketch in it. But today, I want to show you what I did this past week. I've been making these journals and making a little collection of them. This is out of watercolor paper, cardstock, 4x6 index cards. So I've got all different sizes. And I wanted to make them a little more special. And my inspiration was this little journal. So I saw some leather for sale on Facebook Marketplace. It was nice, soft leather, and it smelled so good. And I thought, surely I can make something like this to look similar to this. So I'll show you at the end how I make the journal, but this is what I did in it to start off with. The joy of having a smaller journal that, oops, turn upside down, that isn't very large is it doesn't take very long to do an entry. And you can have one event, which is our trip to Lawrenceville, was a 2-night stay with Chris and Tony, and it was just a nice way of collecting the memories of the day. So I just mentioned this is my first handmade leather journal. I just had to try it out. I found some stickers and added those for the fun of it, put the date, and we were treated to an amazing meal at Bare Bones Steakhouse in Beaufort, Georgia. If you've never been there, it is well worth it. And I just drew one of the major, well, this was our appetizer. And then I had a strawberry daiquiri that was the drink of the day. The steaks, I did not take pictures. Well, I took pictures of, I'll show you that, but I did not paint them. But I just wanted one entry for the first evening we were there. And then Brad and I went exploring while they went to work. First we chilled on the porch. Their cat, Kendall, sat in my lap. All of these are from photos. So I knew I wanted to do a journal of the week or the few days we were there. And I wasn't sure exactly what I would put where, but I didn't want a real detailed picture of the cat, so I just made it a half a page. And then we went walking in Alexander Park, and if you've never been to the Gwinnett parks, their tax dollars are spent very nicely. Really nice parks, walking paths, trails so you can walk, very clean and orderly. Really enjoyed it. And so we walked over 3 miles. Then we headed downtown, and I snapped a picture of one of the steeples in town. I think this is a First Baptist Church, and just caught the main part of it with the trees down below. And we got out and walked around, and there were the flowers right in front of the Blue Rooster bake shop and eatery. Oh my goodness, could gain a few pounds if I lived there. But this was actually on the side of their building, and this was what I purchased for me to eat. It was a delicious apple Danish, and Brad enjoyed a warm cinnamon roll. Both were yummy. And man, delicious food. I'll show you some pictures. Shoehorn Alley is an alleyway that is between the courthouse and the parking lot where Tawny had a lot of her wedding pictures. And I'm going to do probably a sketch of the courthouse here, and I'm not sure what here, but I do want you to see, it's just a small book that you could put several entries in, wouldn't take up much space. And I'm going to show you how I fold this. I'm going to do it just with cardstock. It's going to be a smaller version. And then you just glue the front page and the back page and make a way to connect it. So let me show you how I do that. But nothing's wrong with creating a journal from photographs. Sometimes it's just easier with the schedule that you have. This is what I use to make these small journals. I found cardstock at Walmart at a really reasonable price. Sam has some very similar, it's similar weight. I use the Elmer's glue, all multi-purpose glue, extra strong formula, pencil, Q-tips to help spread the glue, and scissors to help to cut. You got to have scissors to cut the pages. So the first fold, and you might have already seen this in another video, but I wanted to show it to you again here just in case you missed it. You can zip through this part if you've already seen it, know how. But I think I'll do it slightly different than I did in that one. I just didn't go back and review it, but I've taught it so many times since that I'm thinking I've shifted it a little bit. I turn it to where the fold's here, and I fold back the fold, put my fingers here so it goes up against my fingers and I can feel that it's in place, and crease it down really well. If you don't have good strong nails, then use the edge of your scissors to drag, or a glass dish to drag, anything. But you need a sharp crease. So see how my fingers are against this edge, and I push the paper to meet that. And that just helps me feel that it's in the right place. Okay, open that up, fold it the other direction. You're doing the same thing, just in the longer version. The trick with the fingers doesn't work quite as good with this because it's so long. But get it level, straighten it out, crease it good. I flip it around so the fold, I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you'd be folding it that way, but I'm right-handed, so fold it this way. Now I'm feeling the edges, and if you've got one end right, it'll follow through on the other. Flip it over, put your hand here to brace it, and most of the time it does pretty good. Okay, crease it really well. That is a key. Then when you open it up, I want you to look at the shadows. Do you see how the shadows of this line and this line are more pronounced, and this one's not? When I flip it over, this center one is more pronounced. So what I like to do is I like to put my pencil lines on the part of the line that's more pronounced because it's easier for you to see to cut. So this center one is more pronounced, and I go from the center to the three sections over. Flip your page, go from the, I think I said the center, well, the center was 3 over, but now on either side you're going to the first 3 sections. But because you flipped your paper over the way away from you, like this, or if you don't want to flip it back and forth, then you would draw a line here, making sure that it's 3, 3, 3. However it is that works for you. Get a pair of scissors, good light, and try to cut right on that raised fold line as closely as you can. Flip over, cut on that raised fold line. Flip over. Now, lay it all on the right side. Kind of looks like a W or an M, depending on which way you have it. You pick up one end, and then you just keep folding it and closing it in on itself. It kind of does it all by itself if you folded it correctly. And if you folded and cut right on those fold lines, it'll be really smooth here. And you've made yourself a book. Well, it doesn't quite look like a book yet. That's why I add the gluing. See, because with the glue, you see how perfectly it opens up so nice, and it's not confusing, because some of these open at the bottom, some of them open in the back, right here, and you don't want to have to fool with that when you're working with the painting. So what I think about is, here is a tent. Put your thumb under the tent, and wherever your thumb is, right here, is where you need to put the glue. So I have found that using a Q-tip to help spread the glue really keeps my hands from getting nasty, and who wants sticky hands anyway? So I'm going to hold it like this, get my glue in the right position, and I don't want an excessive amount, but I want it to go to the edges, and then I use the Q-tip to spread it out so that it holds quickly and firmly. And so I smash these 2 pages together. See how I'm rubbing them together really well. And now, that used to be the first page. Now I put this one with the first page. I'm holding them together, and my thumb is under here. See that? So where my thumb is where the glue goes. So that, to me, helps you know where to glue it. So always look for, put your thumb under the tent. So this time it closes this way. All right, so I want to lay it down, press really well what I glued, hold what I glued with my thumb, and flip this to where my thumb is now under a tent. Rub it with your Q-tip, and again, close this one straight on it, hold it nice and tight. I like to lay it down, press it all the way around so that that glue goes all the way to the edge, but not, I didn't put so much that it oozes out. Then I pick up the tent, put it over my thumb. Where does the glue go? Right here. So smear that just a little bit. That just helps it catch a little faster and not ooze out. Then I close this on that, lay them down, press hard, pick all these up together, make another tent. Close that. It's like, where's my thumb go? Sometimes it gets a little confusing. Just, the paper's always to the right of your thumb. Well, I'm right-handed. It might be to the left of yours if you're holding it in your left hand. I mean, in your right hand. I'm gluing with my right hand, holding it in my left. Close it. Pick it up. If you always think about between your thumb and your other fingers, that's where you're going to hold it together. And the part that's not glued is to that side. If I picked it up this way, it would be back there and you wouldn't be able, it'd be awkward to glue. So always have the part unglued toward the side of your thumb, facing you. Okay, this will be the last one maybe. Yeah, this is the last one. Okay, because the first and last page are not glued. They are the front and back of the book. But see, when you glue it so nicely together, see how nice that stays? If you want a double wide book, I've got another one right here that I haven't glued together yet, but all you would do is take those two pages that were the outside pages of that and glue those together, so you'd have a book that's twice as long. It would just be a little wider. So whatever it is that you want, you make it. All right, I laid this out, found a straight edge, cut the straight edge, and then I laid this down to see how much space it would take. I don't need to wrap around. I just want it to cover the outside and then have enough space to overlap. So whatever size you do, that's what you're looking for. So this one obviously is longer. I would lay it down, have enough space for this first page and last page, and extra to wrap around. So lay it down, wrap around. However, if you want the wrap to go further this way or be shorter, that's totally up to you. But leather smells so good. Too bad we don't have smell vision. Okay, so anyway, I have my book. I have a front and a back. So I'm going to lay it right there. See, and I cut it slightly, ever so slightly bigger than the book is wide. And I want to make sure if I glue that down that I'm going to leave enough gap back here for the spine. You don't want it so tight that it pulls. So I'm going to add a little slack on this front side. You see how it's hung over just a little bit? It didn't have too much to drink. It's a different kind of hungover. All right, so this is the side I'm going to glue first. So get my glue again. I want to be a little more generous, but again, smear it with your Q-tip. Makes it so much more even and it doesn't warp the paper as bad. And I'm going to lay it down right on the edge, but with a little slack. You see how there's a little slack here? And it's hopefully even on both sides. I have a little bit showing here and a little bit showing here. So, y'all see that? Okay. Then I want to leave room for my spine. I don't want to glue it. I want it to be loose and it'll still hold quite nicely. So see about the space. See, be careful that you don't glue it crooked. And we'll go right here. Glue the outside. To me, the hardest part of this whole thing was punching a hole big enough that I could get a skinny piece of leather through. I don't have any kind of leather tools. Okay, I'm going to give the slack there. Get that last piece. want to press down nice and hard. Be sure your hands are clean. Okay, so that gives enough gap that when you open it up, it's not going to pull too hard, and your work can lay pretty flat. I mean, that's going to bend back, but if it was glued, then it would be in the way. So I like this type of book because there's no seams in the middle of the pages, and so and there's no sewing. No sewing. There's some wonderful, beautiful books that you can sew with, but this is not one of them. All right, so what I did to get the leather long enough is I just found a strip. Might not have been this one. Anyway, I just found a strip that I could go really long, and I cut about as narrow as I could comfortably. And I punched a hole and pulled the leather through, tied a knot so that it would stay. And I wanted the short end coming out on top, so I had to push it from the bottom. Clean that up just a tad. Almost cut my finger. Did you see that? All right, so then I wrap it around, and I haven't tried this one yet, so I see that I have more leather than I need. So do I want to leave it like that, or I could. Hadn't thought about that. That's not tied. Do I want to tie it? I don't know. I mean, that could just hang like that. I could undo the knot and just have a little loop. Anyway, the last one, I went under the knot and tucked it under. So that's what I was actually planning on doing. So I think I'll do it that way. That's secure enough, short enough, and I can just trim this off. And our book is done. So now I have a special little book that will be for another little event that I go to. And I just think it's kind of cute. I think being leather, it's kind of special. And I got a ton of leather, like 27 pounds of leather for like $40. So you can write on these in ink. I haven't yet, but I've played with it a little bit. And go make memories. What do you think?